Hello, listeners. Today's episode is for everyone. Tune in as I get a chance to sit down and talk to Ella Ozturk, who takes us through her personal journey and experience in being an indie singer-songwriter. She tells us all about her new hit single, Circle Back to Me. This is an amazing and talented artist who took the time to prove to me that networking and social media can work when used right. Ella gives it to us with a positive but professional outlook on how to be an independent artist. So tune in and enjoy. Welcome to IPA Sessions. Welcome to IPA Sessions, a podcast for independent artists. As always, I'm your host, Kay Jacob, and this is a place where I like to try and provide inspirations for practical application and entertainment. Today, I have this amazing guest on, an artist that I actually found through social media because, hey, networking works, right? I'd like to invite on the show Ella Ozturk. She's a singer, songwriter, and she's here to promote her new single, Circle Back to Me. Say hi.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for coming on. The wonders of the modern age of social media and TikTok and all that, it's starting to pay off for everyone. It's how we connect.
Exactly.
I really liked your music that I heard, and you have this really awesome, unique, soulful, kind of bassy blues sound going on. Can you just kind of talk to the listeners now and tell us a little bit about who you are and, you know, what you do and why you do it?
Sure. So my name is Ella Ozturk. I am a Turkish-American singer-songwriter. I am mainly a soul pop artist. I draw massive influence from the great big soul diva singers that came before me. That is kind of where I draw most of my inspiration, like the Aretha Franklins of the world. They massively impact the way that I make my music. So you're right on the mark with that. I grew up as a choir kid, always singing my whole life, always writing songs. So I think it's always been a long time coming for me.
Amazing. It's funny too that you say choir. I've noticed with a lot of my musicians that I've had on the show, especially the ones that sing in the genre of R&B and soul and pop, there's this heavy choir influence. Is that kind of where you're, I guess in your early age that you kind of realize, hey, I got something here to that I can do, you know, I got this gift. Is that where you start to kind of discover yourself, was in the choir?
Yeah, I definitely had some choir teachers that had a massive influence on me, and school was never my thing. I pushed through it, but choir was the one thing I always looked forward to. And kind of similar to Shakira, if you've ever looked at her story, where she also was a choir kid, but she didn't really blend well with other singers because she had such a distinct voice. I think I relate to that. I always was placed every year in a different group, soprano one year, alto the next. Like, I never felt I fit in. I always felt like I had a very distinct voice. So I definitely think with those influences, it shaped that I would go on to be a soul singer.
Nice. That's a cool way to find your own voice.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, you're here today to talk about your new single, which is out right now. You can listen to it. It's called Circle Back to Me. You can follow Ella on Spotify.
Yeah, so you can actually listen to my music on all DSPs, so Spotify, Apple, Tidal, literally anywhere. And I'm on all social media platforms as well, including TikTok.
Nice. Okay. Yeah, that's how we met. I appreciate that. And again, all links will be in the show notes. And of course, at the end of the show, we'll plug it again. It never hurts to keep talking about it. And you have a YouTube channel as well. There's a music video that you've made recently.
Yes, exactly. So my last song previous to this one, Roots, has a music video. It was my first music video I ever shot so far. And we've had quite a good response to it, and we put a lot of work into it. So I'm really excited about it.
That's awesome. Now, did you film this together? Like, did you get with a group of friends and just make this video?
Yeah. So actually, my music producer, Morgan Clay, is also a film director. So she shot the music video with her team. I got pretty lucky. Yes, it's my friends, but they're all industry professionals. The quality is quite incredible. And a lot of things in that video were handmade or sourced specifically for the video or hand painted. So it's very much a passion project.
I love it. You're one of the most professional people I've had on so far. You've actually started crossing that threshold of stepping up. You're almost no longer going to be an indie artist, but we're here today to talk about this amazing journey that got you to this point. Okay. So I really appreciate you taking the time to come on and share your experience with us.
Thank you. I love, working with other industry professionals that are also growing their platform.
Thank you. So, with Circle Back to Me, can you kind of just take me through your creative process? How you got started, what gave you the idea to do the song, how the song came to life, and then, of course, putting it out there and allowing others to be able to hear it finally, the final stages.
Yeah, so I wrote Circle Back to Me, I believe maybe around 2019 or 2020. It's hard to remember because I write so many songs. But I wrote it a long time ago. And then me and my producer, we've just been kind of working on all of these songs simultaneously. And after Roots, I figured it would be a good follow up song because it's kind of the same idea, but with a different perspective. Roots, if you've heard of it, is about taking back your power, coming back to who you were before that relationship entered your life and, recovering from the pain that that person's caused you. And Circle Back to Me is different by saying, it's a different type of vulnerability by saying, I actually do need you, I do miss you, and I wish that we could work it out. It's kind of about the one who got away. So it's a different type of vulnerability.
Very nice. So it's a lot of emotion and your personal, I guess, experience going into
Yeah.
your own music, right? Write what you know.
Yes, exactly. It's like my journal.
There you go. It's a good journal. That's that makes sense. I like that.
Yeah.
And I noticed with a lot of musicians like yourself, it seems like it's very therapeutic too. And of course, when you're reaching something deep like that, it's allowing others that listen to your music to be able to instantly connect. So I think that's pretty awesome. Now you've got the music done. You wrote the song out, and you get ready to record. How do you go about your music? You mentioned you have a producer. Do they help you get people together to form music? Do you lay down beats? What's your process there?
I almost always start with lyrics. I identify heavily as a songwriter. It was and has always been my first love. It's how I fell into music. So I always write my lyrics first. I show them to my producer. We kind of go over the inspiration for the song. Sometimes I'll send her an actual song that really inspired this song. Sometimes I'll just like play the piano a little bit or hum a melody, and she'll say, she's really crazy. It's like she's in my mind. She'll like listen to it and be like, I know exactly what you're thinking. And she'll show me, and I'm like, that's 10 times better than what I was thinking of. So we'll just instantly go off from there and kind of bounce back and forth until we get something. And then she lives in LA and I live in San Francisco. So I usually will take a flight out and just batch film and record a bunch of like content and music with her in a matter of days. And then we
Nice.
slowly disperse it just because, I live all the way in San Francisco and most of my team lives in LA. So I have to kind of do it that way.
Before you got your producers involved and you started stepping up in your earlier phases of your writing career, did you still have the same process? Did you create your own music, or did you work with other artists that could help you lay down beats and stuff?
So yeah, I never did beats. I always just wrote my lyrics and I kind of sang them in the melody idea that I had, and I would record them on my phone just so I could remember the ideas that I have because I have so many. But I never, got into making music professionally until I was able to find a producer. I don't really consider myself a producer. I do think I have a good ear for music. I've been told that by my producers because I'm such a music head. I listen to so many genres, and I don't think I honestly go a day without listening to music. So I think I'm always having ideas, but because I don't know how to produce 100%, I have to also have someone work with me. But if I have a good producer and a good relationship with another artist, I think the possibilities are endless. We just kind of go back and forth between ideas.
Right. And I mean, music's always evolving. It's constantly changing. So as a musician yourself, it's great that you are constantly listening to music. Like you
Yeah.
said, it's one of those things because you want to be able to keep up and understand what's happening, and also make sure that something about your music, while it's a part of what's popular, it's also still something unique specifically to you. It's your sound. It's you, it's Ella. And what pushed you in that direction? Because you do have this really unique sound with the four singles that you have out right now, which I've had the pleasure of listening to. They're very what's the word I'm looking for? There's a certain style to them. They
Yeah.
have this just unique sound where it's like it comes on. It's like, okay, I know who this artist is. It's kind of like when you hear a Red Hot Chili Peppers song,
Yeah.
instantly when it starts, this is the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Yes.
And I think you've developed that with your music. It's really cool that you just have this instant sound where it's like, oh, this is Ella.
Thank you. I do think my sound is still evolving, but I do think it's pretty much taking most of its shape and form. I do think because I've been writing and singing my whole life, I have a pretty strong idea of the sound that I want to create. So it's not like when I first jumped into the studio, I had no idea. I have so many influences, so I knew going into it the ideas that I wanted to emulate, but I also know who I'm not as an artist. Like I'm not gonna like be super sugar pop or like, heavy, I don't know, rock. I'm very much soul. So yeah,
Yeah, I mean, you have to stay true to who you are. It's what
exactly.
is conveyed in your music. I'm sure that's why you have fans and people that enjoy your music because they know what they're getting when they listen to you.
Exactly. I think when you make music that you love and it's actually like who you are and it resonates so well with you, I think it comes off really easily that this is a style of music that I love listening to. It's a sound and style of music that feels most authentic to me.
Right. And I love that you said authentic because if you're being honest with who you are, then that comes out in your creativity, it comes out in
Yeah,
your writing, and it comes out in your music. And so people feel authenticity. I
exactly.
think that's awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing that. Now, I want to ask you I like to get into certain finances sometimes when it comes to these things. Most of our artists here, everyone says the same, it's self funding. When you started this journey as a songwriter and a singer, you had to, I'm sure, self fund yourself to get a lot of these projects up and running. Has there been now that you're starting to cross over, has there started to been kind of a payoff for you revenue wise? Do you feel that monetarily what you've been putting in is finally starting to pay out for you?
Yeah, I think it's a really good question. I think it's super important to talk about finances as a musician, unless you're like loaded by family or I don't know, you win the lottery. It's
Right.
not, gonna happen the way you
Mhm.
think it's gonna happen. Unfortunately, you have to spend money to make money in this industry. And so, yeah, to answer your question, the first thing I really did, like genuinely did, was I just networked. I found a bunch of artists, which is how I met my producer. They were also up and coming and young and just want to build their portfolio and their network. So a lot of them did work for free in the first like two songs that I put out. And then some people just kind of had friends that maybe like owed them a favor or just also wanted to build their portfolio that would come in.
Networking at its finest.
Yes, exactly. Like a lot of my music video, I mean, yes, it cost me a good amount of money, but a lot of the people on set also just, let me cut corners in certain things so that they could be a part of it. And that also showed me that if I'm working with the right people and I'm genuinely coming off as passionate and professional as I can, there are people that want to take a chance on a young artist like me. But yeah, to answer your question, I do 100% fund my own music. I work a day job like most artists. And yeah, so I fund it, and I do think the more money you put into it, it does help because you have to put money into your visuals, your production, you have to put money into marketing. You can't just spam people with links. So you have
Oh
to
yeah.
work, and I do think taking on like a publicist and, really narrowing down like the kind of visuals that I want to be known for and my brand, like understanding that this is a business and taking it really seriously, I think that's actually how you build a career.
Thank you for sharing that. I'm glad that you're on here today because, again, I share with a lot of people these, indie artists that are out there doing it, and you're starting to take that next big step to a place where I don't think you're going to have to worry about the finances much sooner, which is the goal ultimately to have this career that you want to build, to have a payoff, to have support system, and to have good people that you work with. You mentioned your producers and the team of friends that you have that have been kind enough in the beginning to work for free, network, know what their lane is and how they can help you, and then know what your part is in all of it. And I think for people out there listening that want to pursue this dream of, making a career out of singing and songwriting, just establish who you are, have this honesty with yourself and make that sound. Because if you're just in it for money, it's not going to get you anywhere because you can throw money at things all day. But in the end, the real art comes from just your authenticity. And it's something that, as you've experienced, is finally starting to pay off for you. Pardon the pun. But
Exactly.
but yeah, and I appreciate you sharing that with me, and thank you because you're right. You want to be treated professionally, you got to act professionally, and like you said, it does take money to make money, and not everything happens instantaneously. It takes time. I mean, like you said, the first 2 years or so, you were having to make sure you pulled all the right resources to get things up and running, and I think that's cool that it's finally come together for you.
Exactly. And I think it's really important to share that kind of perspective with people that are up and coming in the industry, especially young artists, because it's a lot of smoke and mirrors. People don't understand how things are made. They don't know how to put out a song. They don't know how to shoot a music video. And I think there's a whole different reality than what's shown outside. And once you're in it, like you're actually in this industry, you're like, it takes a lot of work. And there's so many different moving parts. And you have to really you really have to work hard. You have to really want it for the right reasons. I would do this even if I wasn't paid $1 because it's what makes me feel the happiest.
Right.
Yeah.
It's more than just a hobby at this point.
Yeah.
It's life.
Yeah. It's a lifestyle being an artist.
And now I'm sorry we've been jumping all around. So I do appreciate you sharing the information on that with me, and then talking about Circle Back to Me, the whole process of what it took to it took a team to make it all happen for you. And it's out right now. It's been out since I believe you said it came out January 1st or January 31st. I apologize.
It's January 27th.
27th. Close.
Right in the middle.
Right in the middle.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's out right now. I highly recommend people go and listen to it, especially if you're a fan of that style of music. If you want something soulful, something honest that really speaks to you, give it a listen. It's very unique. It's a really cool, very well done. And check out her music video, Roots. You can find her on the YouTube to listen to and to watch and see what her and her team have put together. Take joy and maybe learn something from what other independent people have collaborated on. Get that experience in, and it doesn't hurt to watch other people's success and what they're doing to learn from that. Hey, just taking a quick break here. I hope you've enjoyed the conversation so far. And right now, we're going to take a pause and listen to Ella's new single, Circle Back to Me. Ella was kind enough to provide her song for us to play right here on IPA Sessions. Please check out all of her amazing music on Spotify and her own website, ella-ozturk.com. All links provided in the show note.
All of the moments now memory. We will never have it again. Right for each other, but wrong for the time. Not as young as we were then. I know you're gone, don't wanna be found. Darling, please make it back to me when you're ready. If you don't mind. Oh, when you're done messing all around, won't you make it back to me? And when you're done wondering if it's right, can you circle back to me? Wonder where you are and how you've been. Am I saying my name forgotten? All of the time spent, is it left in the past? Left suddenly, won't look back. No, you're gone, don't wanna be found. Darling, please make it back to me when you're ready. If you don't mind. Oh, when you're done messing all around, won't you make it back to me? And when you're done wondering if it's right, can you circle back to me? Oh, when you're done messing all around, won't you make it back to me? And when you're done wondering if it's right, can you circle back to me? Oh, when you're done messing all around, won't you make it back to me? And when you're done wondering if it's right, can you circle back to me? I know you're gone, don't wanna be found. Darling, please make it back to me when you're ready. If you don't mind.
That was Circle Back to Me by Ella Ozturk, a hauntingly beautiful and very soulful song by an amazing artist. Show some love and support for Ella and follow her on Spotify and check out her website, ella-ozturk.com. Now, back to the conversation. I want to move into some questions for you now, Ella. I want to ask, what to you has been the biggest challenge that you've had to overcome? And maybe it's something that you're still working on.
I think two biggest challenges that I've run into is one, finances, because being a professional musician that's not 100% making their living from your art is quite challenging. It's like having a very expensive business, or being like a small business owner is essentially what it feels like. And when you're not making as much money back because you're in the early stages, it's hard mentally, it's hard financially. So that's one thing, but I've persevered towards it, and I'm still figuring it out, but it's gotten better than it was in the beginning. And then the second thing I would say is like having a work-life balance. I think being an artist, it's sometimes really mentally draining because you're just constantly tapping into really personal parts of yourself and kind of having to overshare a lot of your own like trauma or your wounds or like things that are, really personal to you to express your art. And it can be kind of hard on you as an artist. And it's also really hard to be creative on a deadline. Like sometimes you get writer's block, or sometimes things happen in life. Like no one talks about how hard it is to be creative when other areas in your life are falling apart. If you're having other stresses in your life and you have to be like, oh, I need to put out music, it's kind of hard, so that's why I try to do things in advance. I try to record music in batch, and I try to record content in batch, because sometimes there's just no way I'm going to squeeze in a song when I'm stressed about other things in my life.
Yeah, all them creative roadblocks that you hit.
Exactly.
I understand that. And it's tough too, because I mean, you get into your own head, and you get in the way of yourself, and it's definitely a big challenge to overcome that. Thank you for sharing that with us. What is something unexpected that you had to face, something that you learned right then and there in the moment? Perhaps it happened when you were working on Circle Back to Me, or maybe when you were starting out, but is there something that was just completely unexpected that you just had to face head on?
I do think like the recording process is super interesting. Sometimes I do record songs pretty quickly, and sometimes it's like multiple takes, whether it's like a mental block or a vocal block, or we're just changing the direction of the song completely. We're going to kind of rewrite some parts, or we're going to change the melody then and there. I think no one talks about how interesting a proper studio session is. And sometimes you can really be there for hours and just not get anything usable. So no one talks about that. Shooting my first music video was a shock to me. We shot it in 12 hours, and I just couldn't believe how much work goes into a music video and how many, different parts required to be, good in order to make it happen. Like, it's just insane. We had like wardrobe malfunctions and other things, but like we pulled it together, and it's honestly insane when I show people my art and I think about all the behind the scenes. It's like kind of interesting.
I apologize, because earlier you had mentioned to me that you are a fashion designer, and I was curious, do you actually design your own clothing? Did you have anything to do with your own wardrobe for the music video roots?
I didn't, because of lack of time. We had a lot of different things that changed. Even the date that we were going to film changed. So I didn't, but I did work really closely with an amazing set designer and wardrobe designer. Her name is Lolly, and we worked together. And I did bring some of my own personal pieces. There are a lot of things in that music video that are mine, like some of the jewelry or shoes or like dresses. So
nice.
That way, I definitely think I had creative input, but we didn't have time. But that is something I want to do eventually, is like wear some of my designs in music videos or on like a red carpet. Like that would be pretty cool.
Well, and I love too that as a creative artist, not only are you a musician, but you are a designer, and you were able to, with this music video, step away for a moment and trust someone else to do something that you yourself know that you can handle, but you put your faith in them to accomplish it as well and worked really well together. I think that's really cool that you found a cool way to collaborate.
Thank you. Yeah, I get told that often when I work with other stylists. They're like, "What do you need me for? Like, you have a degree in fashion." So I'm like, no, like I really am open to all different ideas, and I love artists and I love working with people. Even in makeup, like I used to be a freelance makeup artist. Like I just consider myself an artist in all aspects, and I still will let other people do my makeup for photo shoots and things like that because I just love to work with other people. But sometimes I do it myself. Like my last photo shoot on my Instagram, I put in the caption, "It's all me." I styled myself, did my hair and makeup. So it comes out in different ways.
Awesome. As it should. That's how art works. It should just come out expressively what you feel right then and there. Okay, so moving along, during your whole process as a singer-songwriter, making these songs and, getting your team together, what is a hard reality that you've had to deal with and accept? Something discouraging that you pushed through and resolved? Or it may just be one of those things where like nothing can be done about it. It's just a fact of life. You have to accept it and move forward.
Yeah, so I think it's kind of shocking the amount of rejection you get as a independent artist. Even if you're doing things the best you can, even if it's super professional, there are some people who just don't want to take a chance on you, or you're just not the right fit for their, I don't know, blog or magazine or to collaborate for whatever reason. And it's just, a different kind of skill set of not taking it personally. You have to kind of dig deep and be like, it's just not a right fit. It wasn't meant for me. And you have to be able to move on. Because if you care about what everyone else thinks, you're just going to become paralyzed. And I've kind of had to move forward with that kind of rejection in different areas, as well as dealing with some people in the industry who can be kind of unprofessional. Like they can book you for certain things and then not follow through or be late or constantly cancel and reschedule. Like you'll find those kind of people in the industry. And it's quite shocking to me because most of the time they reach out to me, So I'm like, oh, I would love to do X, Y, and Z. And they're like, great. And then it doesn't happen for whatever reason. And when you're an artist and it's like, it's such a big deal for you to get those kind of, platforms or those opportunities, you're really excited and then you get let down. But I think you just have to keep moving forward. I always think something better will come along.
Yeah. I mean, rejection is a great example of a hard reality. And like you said, the way you handle it, especially when it's a rejection in the form of you're not actually being rejected, it's just someone else is being unprofessional. Someone else is reaching out to extend a hand like we all do, networking and trying to help one another. And they let you down because they can't commit. That's disappointing. I know what that feels like. I've been there. I'm glad that you shared that. It's one of those things that I feel as an artist myself, that it's something that you can really learn from to help you decide who to work with and how to make yourself be better and to better represent yourself so that it's kind of like a weeding process. You're weeding through certain things. Yeah. You're weeding out the bad ones. And it is a hard reality to face that you just have to accept that no matter what, no matter how hard you try and how good you are, you're still going to deal with stuff like that.
Yeah, you are. There's going to be some people who you're just not compatible with. They're just going to say you're not a good fit for our show, our podcast, or our magazine, or our artist, or whoever. And you just have to say thank you and just like keep it pushing. You can't cry over spilled milk, like as that saying goes. You just have to keep it going.
Right. Yeah. Just like a relationship. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, move on. Yeah. Exactly. I really appreciate you sharing that. Yeah. All right. I'm going to ask some more, I'm going to ask some fun questions now. Something easy. What to you has been the most valuable takeaway that you've learned from this experience? Is there something that maybe specifically helped you grow and improve as an artist?
Yeah, I think the best takeaway is all the amazing people I met so far. I think it's just an incredible opportunity to meet people who are also chasing their dreams and are young and are kind of walking the same path as you. I made some definitely lifelong friends so far, and I'm really excited about that. And I feel really blessed to be able to have those connections in my life. And another good takeaway is just knowing that I am someone who follows their own path in life. I'm proud of myself because I've done everything I said I would ever do. And I think it takes a certain kind of person to live in your truth, especially when a lot of people, try to pull you in different directions, say something's not realistic, or say to not pursue it. I'm pretty proud of myself that no matter what people told me, even if it came from loved ones, that I went to art school, which, isn't a traditional college path. I pursue my music and my fashion endeavors. And no matter how many times people have told me whatever they've told me, I just keep going. And then they end up actually being like supporters now and being like, that's amazing. Like, how did you shoot a music video? How did you put out a song? Like, you're going to do this, you're going to do that. And I'm like, yeah, like it's happening now. So sometimes they can't see it and you have to show them it. It's not their responsibility to see your dream.
Yeah. I mean, you went with your gut and you stayed honest with yourself and you continue to believe because you knew your worth, you knew your input and your value and what you had to offer. And sometimes it takes a minute to bring others to your side, but as long as you believe in yourself, absolutely push through with it. If you feel right about it, then you're doing something right about it. If you're waking up dog tired, worn out, maybe even stressed, but you still have a smile on your face and you still have this big smile and you love what you're doing, no matter how tired and stressed you are, you're doing something right.
Exactly. I've had a lot of creatives tell me that my self-belief was the reason that, we met or that they wanted to work with me. And then, and I helped them believe in themselves. They helped me believe in myself. And it's a pretty beautiful thing.
Yeah, it's the best way to grow as an artist too. Believe in yourself is the best way to grow as an artist. Keep pushing through.
And of course, not to say that you're not going to have moments of self-doubt or like imposter syndrome, but like you have to pull through because I always think you didn't make it that far to get that far. And there's a reason you're in that room. And at the end of the day, there's only one you, so you don't have to be like anyone else. Just be the best you can be.
Well said. Earlier we had mentioned the unexpected that comes up when being creative, but I want to ask you about the expected. What did you want from this project? What did you want from your single, Circle Back to Me?
Yeah, with Circle Back to Me, I just kind of wanted to show a different side of vulnerability. I think a lot of my songs, my first 3 songs are they're really, really sad. And they're really about just, trying to figure out how to navigate post breakup or how to deal with the pain that another person has caused you. But I think Circle Back to Me takes a little bit of accountability of just saying maybe it wasn't the right time for both of us. Maybe I also had some fault in why it didn't work out. And I just think that if we maybe met again, it could work out. And I actually do want you back in my life. So it's a different type of narrative.
That's a great thing to want from your project.
Yeah.
Change your narrative.
Exactly.
I like that. What's your drive, Ella? What motivates you?
I think what motivates me is knowing that I belong to a very small percentage of artists in this industry, meaning I'm a female artist, I'm a woman of color, I'm Turkish American, which is a very specific type of, perspective to belong to and kind of operate from. I'm also a songwriter. And if you look at those statistics, those are very few women in the industry that are songwriters or producers or artists. So that motivates me. And also just young Ella, little Ella that always told everyone she was going to be a singer. And everyone looked at her like she was crazy. And some of those teachers and family friends and people from my childhood are literally like, you never gave up. Like, you're actually doing it. And now all these people in my town are like messaging me and telling me they like my music. And it's like kind of a weird feeling to be like, I was always right. Like, I said I was going to do it and I did it.
It's a well-earned feeling.
Yeah. So I think that motivates me. And also just knowing that like you have to live in your truth. You have to go after what you want. And there was a point in my time in my life where I kind of not gave up, but I took a big break from music. And I was probably the most like depressed I've ever been. And it just showed me that if I don't do the things that make me happy, if I don't live for me, then it's kind of a loss of life. So I feel that living in my truth is the best way for me to live authentically. And it's made me the happiest I can be. And it's also made me the most confident version of myself to know that I do, like I said, I do everything that I said I would do.
I think everyone should strive for the same goals that you have, the same, I guess, attitude, actually. They should still, everyone should apply exactly what you just said to themselves when trying to pursue this. Be true to who they are, be themselves, be authentic, and don't let anything stop you. If this is something you deeply love, do it. Yeah,
exactly.
That's a great motivator.
Thank you.
I appreciate you taking the time to come on today and share your personal journey and your experience and what it's been like to, take the independent route and finally starting to have, getting to the next step up. So for anyone out there that's listening, do you have any advice for them? Something that you can say to encourage someone else looking to do exactly what you do?
Yeah, I would say Of course, like I said, to believe in yourself, but also, again, to network, meet a bunch of other artists that are walking the same path that you are. I would definitely recommend really researching the industry. I don't think the industry is set up in a way for artists to win. I think you have to know how the business works. You have to know
100%.
yeah, what are royalties. You have to like understand how the business side operates so that you can actually make a living and so that you can understand what you can do and what you need to outsource. So you have to do the research. No one's going to do it for you. No one's going to hold your hand and walk you through it. You have to like study all your favorite artists, their interviews. You have to just Google. Don't be afraid. Like just Google like how to put your song on Spotify. Like no one's going to tell you, right? So you have to take that initiative.
Yeah, initiative is that's a big thing.
Yes.
Just do it.
Exactly.
Everyone needs that initiative, man. I know I do. That's what wakes me up is just being like, all right, I'm going to do this. I want to do this. So I'm going to do this. And I feel like people that when they really want something, they'll do it.
I believe in that. Yes, for sure.
Ella, thank you so much for coming on today. This is a platform for you. You've been talking this whole time. This is all about you. But I would just like to say one more time, please put yourself out there. Where can people find you? How can we follow you? Where can we find your music? Where can we find your music videos? How do we become fans?
Well, thank you so much. I do have a website. So it's just Ozturk.com. And my music is on all platforms. So you can honestly just type in Ella Ozturk on Spotify, Apple, Tidal, literally wherever. For my videos, my short form content, you can find on my YouTube and my TikTok. And also on my Instagram, I do post a lot of reels. My music video is available on YouTube, on my official YouTube channel, my Vivo account, as well as if you have an Apple subscription or Tidal or Amazon, you can also see it there as well.
That's so awesome. Thank you so much for coming on. And again, listeners, all links will be in the show notes. So please check it out. Follow Ella, support her music, support her, and just spread the love and spread the music and let everyone hear Ella's sound. But yeah, I do appreciate that you came on today. I appreciate you taking us through everything and taking the time to prove to me that, hey, networking, it works. Social media works. Just go out there and meet people, talk to them, find other artists, work with them, reach out to them, show support. That really goes a long way, and it allows for other opportunities, not just for yourself, but for them as well. So, press on, man. I love hearing that. And for everyone listening, I definitely feel that you found some inspiration today, some encouragement to know that, you don't have to be a certain way. You just need to be your way. You need to be who you are. Be that unique person, be that little kid at heart, and stay that way and push through. Just like little Ella is now Ella. She pushed through and she is proving everyone wrong that she is right. So thank you again, Ella. I appreciate you coming on.
Thank you so much. This was really fun.
Yeah. And to my listeners out there, until the next time, stay golden. Thanks for listening. Please be sure to rate and review and click that subscribe button for new bi-weekly episodes. As always, the theme music is provided by The Erica Page. Follow us on social media at IPA Sessions Podcast. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and now we have a TikTok and YouTube. All information and links are in the show notes. So show some love and support for these amazing indie artists. And if you'd like to come on and share your journey as an independent artist, reach out to me via email at ipasessionspodcast@gmail.com. Till next time, I hope you found some inspirations for practical application in entertainment.